welcome to our NSA Houston podcast, known as the President's Podcast. We bring presidents from across the town or the United States, and in fact, around the world, right to your doorstep. Because where the strategy is at the top, it really allows us to collaborate together between NSA Houston and the world. Today, we have an amazing guest for you that is tied to something small, no, something big coming to Houston next year. And we are going to tune into what is joining the city. I'm not going to reveal it myself. I'll actually hand it over to you, Jan Luc. Go ahead and tell our audience a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what organization you are here with us today.
Well, thank you very much for inviting us to this podcast here. So my name is Jan Luc Blakborn. I am originally from the Netherlands, already 25 years in the beautiful city of Houston, and very active as a business person in trying to bring companies from Europe to the United States. And I do that after a very long career in technology and online video and entertainment. So I've seen all kind of parts, particularly of the Americas, and now focused on an additional thing, which you can probably see on my background. It talks about soccer, right? And you refer to the world, you refer to the city. I think all these kind of things are going to come together next summer when we have a very big tournament, the World Cup coming to town. But actually, we are today talking about the activities that I do as a co-chair of T.E.A.M Houston. And T.E.A.M Houston is very much focused on bringing the business community closer to the sport of soccer. And on that topic, I could talk for hours and days and for a very long time, because it's all about passion, you know?
Oh, of course. And when you and I both talked for the very first time, I think I learned more about soccer than I had seen ever on TV. And it was fascinating because your love for the game, your passion for why is the T.E.A.M Houston even a thing? Because we're preparing the Houston city for such a big global event next year.
Yeah, and I want to re-emphasize, right? I mean, the global event is an event, and it's going to be the biggest sporting event on planet Earth ever, so not to be underestimated. But what T.E.A.M Houston is about is the sport itself, right? So it is what happens now with soccer, what happens next summer with soccer, but what happens with soccer the summer after that. Or the weeks after that, right? So there's everyday soccer going on in the city of Houston, and it is at so many levels. And why we think that this is important is that, I mean, it's the biggest sport in the world, right? And many of our people that live in this city, we have a large city full of immigrants, right? People who come from other countries like me, who come from soccer countries, who love the sport. And who are engaged with the sport already every day, every weekend, every night in so many ways. And with the World Cup coming, it's a catalyst on how many people are going to go and enjoy the sport. And that means it's a catalyst for business, right? So businesses can engage, and if they engage with the sport, they can help also the sport grow.
Yes, and I love your big picture thoughts about how it engages the business, the city, and even not just next year, but the year after. What might someone, I don't know, how might they get involved and join T.E.A.M Houston? You know, what's going on that they might be of interest?
Well, so I think it's sort of interesting, right? I mean, you can divvy people up in different groups, right? People who already know about soccer, people who don't know about soccer, people who know a little bit about soccer, and so they've heard maybe these rumblings about this big tournament coming in. And so what we started to do as T.E.A.M Houston in the beginning was very much be an information provider, right? I mean, give people perspective on all the different tournaments, all the different leagues, all the different levels at which you can engage with the sport. Again, thinking from the business point of view, and also in our thinking, we focus mostly on the small and medium business and the mid-sized businesses, because those are the ones that really need to learn about these kind of opportunities. So what initially was information sharing then evolved into doing workshops, becoming more interactive. And now we have a whole array of activities that we do because we think this is also fun. And so what we want to do is bring people out to the Houston Dynamo matches, bring people out to watch parties. Last night we had an event around watching the World Cup final from 1970 in Mexico, right? And we do that in partnership with an artist called Beteri and a radio host called Glenn Davis. So the whole idea is let's bring a variety of activities where people can engage either in a more serious setting or in a more informal setting so that they can learn about the sport. And then the whole idea is let's get the imagination going. Let's get people to start thinking about, I didn't know this. So you're telling me I can engage with this sport at the youth level? Yes. Or I can engage with the sport at the women's level? Yes. National level, international level. I mean, how far you want to go, right? I mean, the sky is the limit because, again, it's the globe's #1 sport. So if you have a big budget, you can do big things. If you have a small budget, you can still do big things, but within the context of your budget.
And I think the variety of that lends itself to being able for anyone to plug in and get connected. And I also know I got it in this morning I'm on the mailing list for T.E.A.M Houston. So I get the list of activities coming up and what you can be a part of. What would you like to share with our audience members about the newsletter they might be able to get on?
Yeah, so first and foremost, I would everybody encourage come to our website, right? team-houston.com, where you find the information on what we do and what we stand for. And then you will find all the activities and you'll find recaps of the activities. And so in the event section, you can see that, for example, this week we have a very busy week. As I said yesterday, we were doing Monday Night Football together with Beteri and Glenn Davis. Great showing of a World Cup final. And in 1 month from now, we're going to go watch the 1974 final, which is very near and dear to me because it was the final between the Netherlands and Germany, which we lost. And we'll have another one in the month after where we also will lose. So painful, but it's all emotion and passion. So that's one type of activity, right? I mean, the partner watch events. Then we have a big thing coming up later this week, which is the media conference. So we're trying as a team Houston, which consists of business people who do this because they have passion for these kind of things. We try to partner with other organizations and work with these organizations to do things with their members. So the media conference, we will do a special panel where we will talk about soccer storytelling. And soccer storytelling you can do via online video. And guess what? We're going to do a little announcement. And I think by the time that this podcast goes out, that is already then announced. We will do a Houston Soccer Stories short film contest together with the organizations who are organizing the media conference. So the whole idea is how do we get the media community, the content creation community engaged? And again, it's focused on soccer. Right. So soccer has so many stories in the past, stories in the current, stories about the future from the fan clubs who are getting together on Saturday to watch the Premier League, from the youth soccer that is happening, the fans that go to the Dynamo Stadium. There is so many stories to be told. And that is what we would like to capture. And by doing that in competition format, we think we're going to get a lot of content creators engaged with the sport. They will create content. Content creates visibility. Visibility creates awareness for the sport. And you can imagine that we have ideas around what other communities could we trigger in such a way. So that's a big one. We're going to be busy there the whole weekend. I mean, we have on Friday the panels, but we're going to be present the whole weekend to just talk and engage with content creators. And then on Saturday night, we do one of our favorite things is we go to the Houston Dynamo Stadium because we have two pro teams in town, right? We have the Houston Dash and we have the Houston Dynamo. So what we try to do is encourage business and creative people, come to the stadium, network with us. We always meet at the Corona Bar. At the Corona Bar, you have a very nice view over the field. We hang out there, we chat, we talk, and we talk soccer, we talk business, we talk whatever, right? The whole idea is bring people into that feeling. That's just this week. And yeah, more stuff is brewing, more things are coming, and so like these things with the Dynamo, we try to do like at least once a month. The Monday Night Football is every month. We do an in-person panel kind of thing also every month, and we're now also doing a partnership with Score. So SCORE is the retired executives. They are affiliated with the SBA. And there is a whole array of business opportunities that probably need some support from the SBA and therefore support from SCORE. And so we're doing 4 webinars with them. We did the first 2. They are all on our website, so you can replay them. And we're doing 2 more where we're trying to educate the larger, small and medium business community in the Houston metro area about the opportunity, the fans, what you can and what you cannot do, and how you can get support for engaging with all these wonderful business opportunities around the sport of soccer.
I love the variety and the give back, and I didn't even know about what you just shared with Score. And I think it's so impressive that from a passion for football, there is so much that you're bringing into the city of Houston in preparation for the FIFA World Cup. What else, what I'm finding fascinating too is as you're talking, I'm hearing different opportunities and ways people can get involved. What other things would you like to share to paint the picture besides the media competition and the score, and what other else does Team Houston do?
Yeah, so well, first of all, I want to make an interesting observation that you mentioned that you used the word football, right? So
I
it's
did
always like,
because I'm following you.
is it football? Is it soccer? Right?
Uh-huh.
And so I mean, obviously in the US it's soccer. Around the world it's football, the real football. But so we can engage with we would love to engage with more organizations, right? So to give you a little bit of an idea on what we are trying to do, and on some of these things we are succeeding, some things we still need to work. So the name Team Houston is not just like a funny name. There's a meaning behind it, right? So the T stands for trade. So that's the international business. The E stands for enterprise and entrepreneurship, the local business. The A stands for advertising and art. So that's sort of like a whole piece of the communication industry. And then the M stands for marketing and media. And these last 2 are basically sort of like a coordinated via my partner in crime on this, Saoirse Gordon. So basically, we're trying to coordinate with all the marketing communication associations, right? So from the AMA, the AAF, the PRSRA, the Houston Media. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them, right?
There are,
And
yeah.
and so what is the idea? The idea is that we would like to work with all these organizations so that we can help them make their members very successful at dealing with soccer. And then, of course, the World Cup is the big catalyst. On the other end, so the T and the E is something that I do with a couple of other team members. So 2 gentlemen from France. So we are all business consultants. So we deal a lot with international business bringing in. So we're dealing with chambers of commerce. So we're reaching out to the chambers of commerce of the key soccer nations, trying to anticipate, because imagine this, right? So this is the biggest sporting tournament that is coming. 48 countries are going to come to play, right? One is the US, so 47 visiting countries, but then there's going to be a whole other bunch of other countries are coming. So that means business is coming. So what we're trying to do is proactively work with these chambers of commerce, try to identify who is coming. We're not going to know who is coming until December the 5th, but you can already anticipate. So you can work with, to give you an idea, Argentina. Argentina is the #1 soccer country in the world, right? In the FIFA ranking, they're #1. They are the previous world champion or the current world champion. But their trade with the city of Houston is not as big as, for example, France or Germany or the Netherlands. So we think that that is opportunity, right? Opportunity to create maybe activities. And that's why if you're asking, right, I mean, how would we like to engage and how can people engage? Associations, organizations, chambers of commerce can come to us. We will work with them to go out to their members and to see what we can do to get more and more people aware, again, about the sport, but then use the World Cup as the accelerator. And we like to say is that try to create a relationship, not just the quick buck, right? I mean, so you have an opportunity to get a complete new customer base if you focus on this sport that is the fastest growing sport in the United States. So that is a very, let's say, high level answer, right? I mean, so people, if they want to help us, if they want to volunteer, there is more than enough work that we have. I mean, we started with a small team. I think we're now between, let's say, the core team and call it the advisory team. I mean, over 15 people who are one way or another involved with the activities that we're trying to accomplish.
Wow. Well, I think it's exciting to see the support that's growing, the team that's behind it, and the variety of activities that, as you've described, are really impacting Houston. And thank you for explaining the big picture of like what your goal is and what Team Houston is striving after. I know Sorcha, we've talked, and then you and I, we've all been on a call before, just in general, talking about this podcast. And I think too, the media side of it, the communication side of it with the groups that you mentioned, there is so much being put into support for Houston to really shine. And so I'm sure, the reason why we have you on our podcast is so that NSA Houston can also collaborate with you and vice versa. So
Yeah.
what might NSA Houston be able to help and do? And then let's just kind of brainstorm what we can do to help each other.
Yeah, so I mean, I looked at your website, right? I mean, and I'm trying to sort of look at like, okay, so always, right? I mean, what can we do together with an organization? So you have members, right, in your organization, and so you focus on public speaking, right? So you have a lot of public speaking going on. So what wonderful topic there is called soccer, right? I mean, to talk about it. So we could help you as an organization to be more informed about the sport, right? I mean, what kind of angles can you take? To give you an example, we did recently a session with the hospitality industry, right? So we had a mixture of people from bars, hotels, catering in a room, and we got together and we basically did some workshops, and people came out with a plan for a mini fan zone in one of the suburbs, right? And that was purely by sitting together in a room where there were people who were experts on the sport and people who were not, right? People were curious because they got our email and those kind of things. So it is, we can do all kind of things, but I think the most important thing is to engage with an organization and to then look at like, okay, how can your members shine in this wonderful opportunity today, tomorrow, and in the future? And the most important thing is starting with sharing information, right? So one of the things that we have done, we have created it's now about 185 pages of soccer fan insights. So instead of you having to go to all the different reports that are out there, we have gone to all the different reports. We've compiled key pages and key pieces of information, and you have it there, right? I mean, it's still a lot of information, but again, what we're trying to do is give you a lot of knowledge so you are more informed. And then also once you get all that data, you get very passionate, you get very excited, right? Because that's what we want in the end. We want basically three types of passion. We want passion for soccer, we want the passion for business, and the passion for Houston. And those three go hand in hand very nicely. And that creates people. I mean, I was yesterday in a brainstorming session with a marketing agency that works in the Hispanic market. I mean, in a conversation of an hour, there's probably 10 ideas of what can be done, right? And then, of course, it has to be translated into action. But it begins with, again, that understanding of the sport, how significant the sport is, and then again, what does that mean? So for public speakers, we can probably come up with a wonderful list of topics that public speakers could talk about in relation to soccer.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to keep us informed. And I know our members, they are keynoters that are on stage. They're also coaches, trainers, pastors, comedians, anyone that shapes the world with their spoken word. And so I think, and being informed is a great step. I think also we should at least give the opportunity to say, hey, here's our podcast. It comes out in our newsletter to all of our members and our friends who are not members yet. And I think too, it's offering an opportunity to say, hey, did you know about this opportunity? Because at the end of the day, NSA Houston is really focused on value for our members and for Houston. So if we're able to say, here's an opportunity you might not know about and it offers value for someone that loves soccer or someone that really wants to be around the World Cup next year and just wants to learn, I think it's an open door to be able to invite our members in to collaborate with you. Here's another thing too. I think that there's an opportunity for us to, if it's getting on the T.E.A.M Houston mailing list, NSA folks, get on the list, stay involved in what's going on, pick an event and check it out. And vice versa. T.E.A.M Houston, we actually have social networking happy hours where you can come and mingle with our NSA Houston members and guests and really get down to what you talked about, supporting Houston in that business.
Yep. And so it's very interesting how you describe that, right? Because it is sort of like you have the formal pieces and the informal pieces, and both are important. You have the in-person interaction and you have the digital interaction. So we try to do both. And again, I must say it has evolved quite a bit over the journey that we started, right? Because when Sorsha and I discussed that in the very early days, we just came off couple of very early conversations with people where, let's say, call it key decision makers in our city, were just not good enough at articulating what this big thing is, right? That is coming. And so Sorsha's from the UK, right? A tiny little soccer country. And I'm from the Netherlands, another tiny little soccer country. So we're sort of like, that is just sort of like, a little weird, right? And it's understandable because the United States per today is not yet a soccer country, but give it 2 generations, right? Then the picture is going to be completely different. And if you see now how much children are playing soccer, right? How much women are playing soccer. So these kind of cross sections are going to be very interesting. And Houston has all those cross sections, right? So if you look at, I mean, you can go to the webinar that we did on the soccer fans, but it is a Gen Z sport, it's a Latino sport, it's a female sport, right? Or at least, I mean, female is big on the rise. Just imagine what happened with the Euro competition for women. Every match was broadcasted live in the United States. Right? That is just fantastic. I mean, for us Europeans, it is like, oh my God, I can see every match. That is fantastic. But that creates excitement, that creates inspiration from kids up to parents, and we're going to see a whole lot more. And of course, the World Cup is going to be the big catalyst. People are going to see soccer every day, and they're going to be seeing the best soccer in the world. And that will inspire people. And then for businesses, right? I mean, whether or not that is a public speaker or a coach or a consultant or a company, get in now, right? Don't wait, right? I mean, some people, I'll wait until we know who's coming. No, don't wait. Come with us to the match. Come to some of our events. Come to these webinars and prepare. Because a prepared business is a good business, right? Or it has the chance to be a good business. And if you have to scramble at the last minute, well, that's maybe not such a good thing.
And there's plenty of people that are preparing for it already. Your group included. I'm sure FIFA already has the plans. I've seen it in the news, and the Houston Chronicle carried a link to get involved in FIFA also. Yep. So as we're bringing our podcast topic to a close, I've got 2 questions for you. First, what else would you like our audience to know that maybe hasn't come out yet, but it's really important?
I would say get engaged with soccer, right? I mean, so that's a very general answer to that question. But I think if you haven't engaged yet with soccer, start engaging, right? I mean, watch it on TV, come to the game, go to the youth soccer. That's probably somewhere around the corner. There's some big soccer academies here in town that are working on the future talent, right? I mean, we have actually some national team soccer players in our local teams here. So it shows that Houston has the potential to provide that talent. So engage with the sport. I think that is I think, the biggest message that I would want to convey.
And I would also say, if you're listening and you're thinking, I'm not sure about this, or yeah, it's not for me, or I am so excited, get on the mailing list. I get it. And I always read through it to see what is available, what's going on. At the very least, you're staying in the loop of what is happening. And if you want to engage at whatever level fits for you, then do it. My last question for you is one of my favorites. What is a talent that you have that might not be very well known by many people, just to get to know you a little personally? Besides soccer, you can't pick that. I think we know
Uh,
that that's a passion.
I saw that question and I was smiling because I have another passion,
Oh,
right?
yes, good.
So I have another passion, and so my home country is known for many things. One of the things they are known for is that they have the best DJs in the world, particularly in electronic dance music. So in my spare time, yes, I do spin my own radio shows, actually two. So if you want to enjoy DJL, which is my DJ name, I'm also Mr. Orange, so you can find all of that on SoundCloud. And if you love techno, you might like my mixes that I create on the weekend. So that's another thing that just is in the blood, is in the DNA, and then I can't get it out. So it's also passion.
Absolutely. Well, that's the key piece too, is doing what you love. And thank you for spending a little bit of time with us today to be able to explore about Team Houston, get to know you also, and then be able to connect our members with more value. So I encourage us to keep the connection going as we approach the FIFA World Cup next year. And if you're listening, thank you for tuning in to another NSA Houston Presidents podcast, where we bring in presidents to offer you value at that strategic level, because there's a lot going on in our city and the US and also the world. So Houston is a major city, and we are here to build it higher. Thank you, Jan Luc, for everything you brought in today. And to our
Thank you.
audience, we'll see you next time. Take care.